Hello and welcome to another episode of making Diablo clone in Lisp. So today, I think I forgot to update the stream title. So anyway, today I'm going to be doing the loading screen. So yeah, that's kind of important thing in terms of, well, graphical interface, etc. So yeah, I think I might want to update the title. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, so I think I'm kinda almost finished with documenting new code. So yeah, loading screen. Right, so I think, I'm ready. I think I might want to start my sharing of my keys that's being pressed. Yeah, okay. So, where was I? I think I have it somewhere in my bug tracker, so just give me a sec. Put it here, and yeah, I think I have a couple of links as to where to get the graphics for the loading screen. So yeah, why should that be words? Yeah, I'm kind of... Yeah, loading screen. Alright. So yeah, I found some stuff on OpenGameArt. So I will probably use that. Yeah. Oh yeah, those I think I will put later. I mean the backgrounds. I think I want to just start with, well, just the loading bar itself, and then maybe proceed to the loading screen. Well, anyway, I have to make the, well, initial stuff. This loading bar anyway. I think maybe music might be a bit too loud. Oh yeah, okay, anyway. No, maybe just a little bit. Yeah, okay. So, right now the game loads pretty quickly actually. So it was like several seconds, 3 maybe 4, but I'm having SSD and quite fast processor right now. So I think, yeah, it is anyway worth doing, because, well, not all people have SSDs and fast computers. Right, so I want to display that thing, and the most of that time that is spent with that black screen is spent by loading various resources. So here is the tricky problem, because it is sort of a chicken and egg problem, because to display some UI, or, well, to display any UI like this loading UI. Wait, I think I have something here. Ooh. Yeah, maybe I want to stash that. Yeah, I think I will want to stash that. Yeah, just give me a sec. So that's working tree. Just turn this off. Alright, where was I? Right, so yeah, maybe I want to reload because I've changed the code. Yeah, okay. So I want, yeah, right now I want to display the loading screen, because right now there are those resources loading. But to display any UI, I need to have the UI system initialized, and its initialization is like the part of that process. So the thing is, to display loading screen, I first have to load the UI system, and to load UI system I want to be displaying the loading screen. So yeah, that's kinda chicken egg problem. So I think I would want to solve that. Let me just have a look at how my systems are initialized. So the most of the time is spent during system initialization, I am most sure. So maybe I even want to add some profiling to prove that. So give me a sec. Alright, so I have this initialize systems, which is called, I reckon, from here, from kind of main file. Oh, sorry. So here should be initialize systems. Initialize systems. Yeah, here we go. Nope, I'm not. Why do you think I am? I mean, Lisp is the awesome language to do anything, including game development. So yeah, I'm not. Right, so initialize systems. Right, in specified order. So, yeah, so maybe I want to profile that. I reckon I have some profile in macro. I just have to recall how I called that. With profiling, I recall. Yeah, with profiling. So it takes on, which should be boolean, and then marker, which should be string, I guess. Yeah. And something else. The body, yeah, okay. In controlling your editor. Yeah, right, you're definitely right. So yeah, Emacs is the amazing stuff. I mean, I've been VI user for like, what, 10 years or maybe 8, and then I switched I'm into the Emacs at some point, and I never went back. So I mean, it's incredible. Oh yeah, sorry, GNU Emacs. Yeah, you're precisely right. Yeah, okay, so I want some marker here, like initialization. I'm not just sure that should be string and not some sort of, yeah, with marker string. Okay. So let's see how long that would take. Oh, what do you mean though unreachable code? I mean, that should be reachable because with profiling should work anyway. Oh yeah, I guess that's the different body, because body here is twice. Yeah, here and then later. Yeah, maybe I would want to somehow silence this warning. I'm not sure how, but yeah, probably I should. Let me just leave some to do here. Goddammit, reachable. Alright, so I think now if I start the game, I should be able to see the profiling details in the log. Okay, let's have a look at log. So it should be in .local share demo log txt. Alright, so here it is. Profiling report for initialization. Here we go. So we got 859 samples, which lasted exactly 8.59 seconds, which is longer than it is perceived, but okay. Anyway, let's have a look. Yeah, so as I would expect, most of the time spent deflating, decompressing that sprite file, because it is saved in ASC sprite format and it uses compression. So sometimes spent decompressing, and yeah, that's probably most of the stuff that is happening during the load time. Okay, so do you have something like JIT and Lisp engine used on the game? No, actually I'm using common Lisp and it compiles in just precisely in the machine code. So yeah, I mean I can show you some functions. For instance, what do I have here? I have function GameStartedP, for instance, and I can disassemble that in common Lisp just by using function disassemble, and then just post this function GameStartedP, and then just have a look at raw disassembly. That's just machine code. There's no extra link as JIT. So yeah, in that regard, common Lisp is quite amazing. I mean, it has garbage collection and stuff, but anyway, it's incredibly performance, like incredibly fast in terms of performance. So yeah, it's kinda no virtual machine. So I kinda dump that code into the binary, and then user just launches the exe or elf or whatever he has on his system. So yeah, I mean, you kinda can consider it to be a VM, like this large executable, because it contains a lot of like this Lisp stuff, like stuff that is contained in standard library. Like for instance, I don't know, some stuff like well, simple functions like to go over the lists or over the vectors. So yeah. Right. So where was I? I was looking at profiling report. So yeah, it spends a lot of time decompressing stuff, but yeah, I'm not really into optimizing that. I just want to display some nice loading screen during that. So yeah, it lasts 8 seconds and it is definitely worth it to display some loading screen. So yeah, I guess I will remove the profiling stuff here, and yeah. Okay, so initialize systems. Right, and I can't really display any UI before initialize systems, but after that it makes no sense. So I have to be tricky about that. One way to do that is to initialize UI system like first before all other systems. I think I can use that approach. So let's have a look. Okay, so to initialize systems, I loop over the list of those systems. Right, and I take the initializer and then call this initializer, right? Yeah, right, I do. Yeah, I call the method system initialize, which is then specialized for every system. So for instance, I have UI system, and in UI system I do some stuff in system initialize, like loading fonts and fonts or whatever. So yeah, right. How can I be clever about that? Okay, first of all, let's have a look at the specific order of my systems. So it should be in this variable, system initializers, I guess. Let me just, okay, how do I mean, there was a way to copy the expression right into the REPL in Sly, but I can't remember. It was something like Sly meta yeah, Sly copy, no, Sly whatever, REPL. REPL sync, REPL note. Okay, I'm just maybe over complicating things, but yeah, maybe I will just type it in. It will be faster anyway. So system initializers. All right, here we go. So yeah, first of all, they're sorted kind of backwards. No, I mean the more the order number, then the earlier the system is initialized. So yeah, first of all I initialize the bug system, then sprite batch system, because it is required for sprite system and for map system and whatever. then credits, then menu, then player, then combat, item, and only then UI. That's weird. I mean, I'm not sure about the exact direction of that order, so let me just have a look at the log. Yeah, here. So, what is loaded first? Okay, so from log I can see clearly that here is the initialization of the sound system, and then sprite, and then map. Sprite and map. Again, if we see, okay, map. So map system have the order of 0, which is default, I reckon. And then sprite. Where is sprite? Yeah, it also has the order of 0, so I can clearly tell what is the UI, and then sound. Okay, all of those systems have the order of 0. Okay, it's not very helpful. All right, so let me just by judging the code, I'm going over those system initializers just in the... Okay, let me just print where a system is initialized and then have a look. So I'm going to just call demo again. Okay, yeah, right. The more order, the earlier the system is initialized. Okay, that kinda makes sense, I guess. Right, so what I can do here is I can put UI system into into the very beginning of that list, so that it is initialized like first, and then I can use that loading screen. But then again, it is tricky regarding the code that actually triggers that loading screen, because I don't have clear idea about where to put that code. I guess I'm going to have to think about that. Okay, let me just do little steps. So let's just start by going into the UI system and tweaking its order. Again, how do I do that? Yeah, just where the documentation is, I put the keyword argument order, and let's have it at, I don't know, 20. All right. I guess I'm going to have to restart my Lisp image because, oh no, I don't have to do that. Okay, nice. So let's just see if it still works. Okay, cool, it still works. So I can, yeah, the UI system is working, obviously. So even the game is working. Okay, cool. So, right, now I have to find a place for a code that actually triggers loading screen. So a good place for that would be system initialize, I guess. And I would probably have to, I would want to reuse that loading screen at some points. Like before, I don't know, loading some long map or entering some network game or whatever. Yeah, okay. So I think I probably can put that loading screen initialization somewhere here in system initialize for UI system. I mean, that only would make sense. Yeah, right, so after all of those. Yeah, and the thing is... Yeah, okay, probably I want some separate mechanics for the loading screen, because it would be sorta kinda global variable, actually. And I mean, I want to be able to update the progress, like the percentage number, and maybe even some letters saying what is happening, like loading blah 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 this file. Yeah, I want some sort of separate mechanism for that. So maybe I would want to make here some global functions. Yeah, something like trigger loading screen, maybe. Yeah, I think that kind of would make sense. Trigger loading screen. Again, I'm terrible at naming things, so maybe I would come up with better name. But anyway, trigger loading screen. No, maybe not trigger, but toggle. Oh, how do I toggle? Toggle loading screen. Yeah, and maybe then some boolean flag with default. I reckon I've done that before. Let me just search. Toggle. Yeah, something like that. Oh, right, it's in the same file. Alright, so that would be optional argument with so yeah, on by default it's nil. Wait, that's not very logical, I guess. Toggle UI. Toggles UI window corresponding to entity on flushes to entity on. Yeah, okay, right. Why it is nil by default though? If on supplied. On, not currently on. Oh. Oh, yeah, okay. I guess I'm just forgetting the semantics for the optional arguments in LISP. Okay. On supplied P. Right. Okay, and after that, I guess I would have to have the like actual global variable holding that UI entity for the loading screen. So I guess it would go here in the system itself. I mean, that's only logical place. So kind of loading screen. Okay, maybe I would want to make a separate system. Would that make sense? No, I guess that would not make much sense, because, well, why would I have a lot of extra systems? And then the only thing that that system does is it has this global variable. I mean, it kind of holds it, so it does not really make much sense. Yeah, I mean, I would just leave it here. So, what that would be? That would be fixed num, because that's the entity. Oh, sorry, the default. So the default would be invalid entity, and the type, of course, fixed num, because it's kind of synonym for an entity. Right, that's it. Oh, yeah, what? Of course it is incompatible with current definition. Recklessly continue. Okay, loading screen. So, and I guess the only API to interact with that loading screen would be those functions I'm doing here in the bottom of the file. So yeah, okay, loading screen. Well, first of all, I would want to actually load that from the file. Okay, so let me just quickly make some resource here, sources, UIs, and I would call that, I guess, loading Lisp or something. Okay, let me just open main menu and then open a new file, something like loading.lisp, I guess would do. Yeah, and then just copy that by example. Right, so some color here for some reason, which is not even. Oh yeah, that's button text color. I don't need that. Oh yeah, but maybe I do. Maybe I want to just initially, just for a quick test, display some random button and then go to that beautiful progress bar. Right, so maybe I would want to copy that. We've started. No, I don't want background image. Okay, let me just copy at least until here. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. I would want also to have that. Okay. So yeah, right. Background image. I don't really need background image, but I want button images. So yeah. Right. I don't need that stuff because, well, why would I? It would be just constant color. Right, then button blah blah blah, button text color. Yeah, main menu. Let me just change that to loading screen. And correct without space, blah 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 blah. Continue. Okay, and then no, let me just remove that. And game started. Yeah, okay. Let me just have one button just for a test. And then this ends. Yeah, okay, right. Give me a sec. Okay, I want to have that in the same level as spec. Right. New game. Oh, and I don't want to actually do anything when the button is pressed. So yeah, just make button press sound and then do nothing. Okay, that's it. So that's my new resource, loading.lisp. So I don't do that. And yeah, I want to load that thing here in system initialize. Make prefab. Right, how exactly do I do that? Well, let me just remember. Prefab. I guess I should call either make object or make entity or make component or whatever. Yeah, let me just quickly search for that. So I guess I have credits at some point. Yeah, and I have even separate system for credits. Maybe moving out loading screen into separate system would make sense. Right, let me just quickly check here. Where? Loading screen stuff to separate system. Right, so I was going to look at credit system. And yeah, that's a very simple system. I mean, I'm not even sure that makes sense to have it. Credit system UI entity, right? System finalize create entity. Yeah, okay, makes sense. So, have to make object. Yeah, right. I want that. Sorry. So here with system slots, yeah, I guess I want to put it here in those floats. Oh, wait a sec. Oh yeah, read-only nil. So loading screen. Screen. Yeah, no, lines aren't very nice, so I don't want to break it. Yeah, kind of like that. Right, loading screen. So I would want to set f that loading screen to that, but not credits, but loading. Yeah, right. Prefab loading. Oh, wait just a second. Oh, I think it wouldn't work here because at that point prefabs aren't still initialized, are they? I mean, let me have a look. So I think prefabs are maybe in their separate file. Yeah. So when do I initialize the prefabs? Yeah, right, after. Oh no, that's system finalize after. So yeah, that makes sense. So where do I actually initialize those things? Yeah, I call preload prefabs, which actually takes the major part of loading time. But where do I actually call that? Okay, let me have a look at systems. Prefabs. Nope, not here, in components. Yeah, preload prefabs, and that's in system create. Oh, wait a sec. System create, so that's kinda another initializer, isn't it? So where's that system create called? System create. Oh, constructor name. Oh, so that happens right when the system is created, and only then. No, wait, I'm just a bit lost here. So I have macro dev system. One of the things it expands to is this constructor, something like make blah 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 system name, like make UI system, for instance. Yeah, and those things are put into that system initializers list. So I actually call them in the appropriate order. Right. And those functions inside of themselves, they are calling system create, which in turn calls preload prefabs. So that means that, okay, when do I call system initialize then? Right, and that's on the when I call initialize systems in the no, wait a sec. System initializers contain those things, those constructors, and then I do initialization just after. Okay, let me just have a look at this code. So the list, I go over the list of those things. Call, make keyword, blah blah blah. So yeah, basically those things. Set of get hash. Oh, yeah. So first I go over that list, calling those constructor functions, and only then I go again over all of that list and call. No, wait. Oh, yeah, and then I call system initialize for the respective systems. Okay. Right. So, what does that mean? Okay, first of all, that means that I actually can use prefabs in my UI system. So like here I can do that. That would work. Right? Would it? I mean, let me just have a try. Loading screen. What? Why? Weird. Loading screen. Yeah, here it is. Loading screen in UI system. With system slots set up. Weird. That's weird. I mean, I do... Oh, I think extra parenthesis here is what's wrong. Yeah, right, okay. So I guess I will just try and start that and see if that works. Oh, one error. Yeah, button text color. Why? Why the error though? Yeah, that worked. That prefab was loaded, but I mean, it tried to load, but it failed because there was some error. Code error. Yeah, where is that? I'm currently trying to understand what that error is. Oh yeah, error while parsing arguments to destruction. Bind too many elements in item blah 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 to satisfy lambda list of set value. Exactly 3 expected, but got 9. Alright. Let me just go back to that loading. So where is that with styles? Okay, let me have a look at my menu. I've copied it from here. Oh, yeah, I think there must be extra parentheses here, or maybe parentheses missing. Yeah, here it is. Right. So now, wait a sec. With, yeah, right. And then here, yeah, extra parentheses. Right, now that should work. I mean, it worked before, but now it should, yeah, it even loads. Okay, cool. So, okay, now I do have this prefab with loading screen. Well, not currently, but I will make it later. So, yeah, okay, I do have this prefab. So I can write some manipulation functions for that. Yeah, first of all, toggle loading screen. So for that thing to toggle, I would want to toggle this thing, right? Entity, yeah, right. And then maybe I even want to copy that weird if for a supplied argument, because again, I'm not really remembering in detail the semantics for the on-supplied P in Common Lisp. Yeah, and then maybe I want to copy that. Yeah, right. Just copy. And then just go ahead and call that UI on the corresponding entity, which would be, what would that be? UI system loading screen. Yeah, right. For the UI system, obviously. Yeah, and then this supplied thing. Right, so it is toggled. I don't really need any extra parameters, do I? Yeah, perhaps I don't. So the next function would be the one to actually set the progress, the current progress. So something like set loading screen progress. And then the actual number. Yeah, something in spirit of that. Yeah, I forgot to show off my new mug with Lisp Alien, so yeah, here it is. Okay. So the actual progress. Right. How do I pass this thing into that code of prefab? Okay, let me have a look. In that loading.lisp, yeah, here I should have this progress. Okay, so the nuclear UI library which I'm using is kinda immediate state, which means that you should pass all of this state of your UI in every frame, literally every frame, which means that I should pass that progress at every frame, which means I should have to store it somewhere again. Okay, I think I can actually store it here in one of those things. Hello. Oh, hard to hear my voice. Do you mean because of the music? I mean I can make this sound a little bit. Give me a sec. 30, yeah, something like that. So is that better? If I speak some words into the microphone, which is kinda pretty, because it's shiny and new a little bit. Yeah, okay, maybe I would want to make the actual microphone a little bit more. Okay, so maybe some level like that would make sense. Yeah, thanks for saying. It's actually hard to know that things right in the stream. Yeah, okay, cool, thank you. Right, where was I? Yeah, so I do have this mechanism here to store like different things in the UI prefabs. So how do I actually do that? I kind of forgot. I reckon I have... Yes, I have the component for the UI, and every component has these parameters, which is hash table, which has the keys as those keywords, and the values in that hash table would actually be those things. Yeah, so I can have a progress here. I can have something like progress and have default value of, let's say, 0. Yeah, maybe like that. Okay, so that's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, it's nice to have some cool mechanisms you've implemented before and you can use later. Right. But how do I actually access this thing? I mean, I don't really have anything to do that, do I? Parameters, make prefab. Okay, so I do some stuff with that in make prefab. Blah blah blah, parameters, make prefab. Frankly, I have no idea what's happening here because I've written this code like several months before, but do I actually have something to access those parameters? Apply entity stable list, delete component one. Okay, I don't have anything for that, so I guess I would have to write something for that. Yeah, so where was I? Set progress. So basically in this function set progress, I would want to just take this parameter and put that into that hash table, which sounds easy. Probably I wouldn't even need any wrappers for that parameters mechanism. Right. So where was I? Okay, so my entity is that UI system loading screen. That's the entity. So then I can write some macro, something like with UI, right? Yeah. So the entity would be that one. Bindings nil, because I don't really want to specify those. And yeah, inside this macro, I would have parameters as the symbol I can access. So that's nice. So that means that I can do something like that. I can set up get hash with the key progress, and then in hash table called parameters, and then I can set effort to the actual progress value I've been passed. So yeah, I guess that's that. That's my function, set loading screen progress. Right. And of course it compiles, god damn it. Yeah, it really is not compiling quite cleanly. Oh, not currently on. Right. So if it is not passed, right. Toggle. Okay, maybe I would want to be a bit more explicit here. Optional. Yeah, maybe I don't want it to be optional. Maybe I want it just by default true. Right? Am I using the correct syntax here? A team. God damn it. Required argument is not a symbol. Oh, but how do I do default? Do I have to use optional? Right. Okay. So by default that would be true. So by default we toggle that. Yeah, that makes sense. So that, yeah, I guess I can replace all that thing with on. Yeah, here we go. So now I can toggle that loading thingy, and I can set progress of that. And maybe I would even want to set some text, but yeah, I will do that later. So I can toggle, I can set progress. So I guess that's that. I don't really need anything except that. All right. So now I should find some place in the code where I actually will call toggle loading screen, and I will actually toggle this nice loading screen. So how do I do that? Let me have another look at the list of systems. System initializers. Right, so I create... Oh, wait, that's not very nice. I guess I would have to restart my Lisp image, because now I have several initializers for the same system. Not very nice. Oh, come on. Now I want to load the engine and then switch the package. Okay, I want to look at that. Yeah, right. So now UI system is initialized first. Yeah, I guess what I want to do here is to just toggle it right away, just when the UI system is loaded. So it would take a bit of time to load all of its prefabs and compile all of that code, but again, that's not very long. maybe I mean something in a range of maybe less than a second, I would bet. Right, so toggle that right away. UI proof. I guess I can even kinda put some parameters right here, but I would want to think, how do I do that? Okay, let me just search for make object. How I remember doing that. I was setting some parameters right when creating some objects. Prefab loading, give me a sec. So maybe something like so when doing prefab, prefab component parameters. Yeah, right, parameters. Prefab. Oh yeah, destruction bind on nil, right. So I guess I should just pass on with true here, and that would do the trick. This loading screen would be on by default. I mean, that should work. That definitely should work. So let me just compile that, and yeah. I mean, oh no, that worked. Okay, so maybe I will just start it now and see if that works. I mean, okay. The variable progress is defined but not used. So this means, this warning means that this prefab with fake loading screen was loaded indeed. So I can't really see it here. Oh, maybe that's because the position of the button. Yeah, here it is. Here's my fake loading screen. Here it is, the new game button. So to be more specific, I can switch to that loading.lisp and maybe rename new game with something like loading, and maybe put it in a bit different position. So okay, let me see. Layout space push rect. Okay, weird numbers, some weird numbers. So maybe I recall this second one is for the vertical position, so I can change it to something like 6. And yeah, let me see how that works. And yeah, of course, progress is defined but never used. Yeah, blah blah blah, whatever. So yeah, here it is. And of course I can press it, nothing happens. So yeah, that's some progress here. Okay, I need some sugar boost. Sorry. Right, so now where do I proceed from here? Maybe I would want to replace that with the actual progress bar. But wait a second, why it is not on top initially? So I mean, here in the main menu, I can't see this loading screen button. Oh, that's also another problem. That's another problem that's related to the to game loop. So the problem is that to draw anything, including that nice loading screen, I would have to be in the game loop, actually. In the, let me switch to difficult. Okay, right here. I would have to be here in the function game loop, which actually does the loop. The loop, it handles the input for the nuclear library, and it also draws nuclear library and whatever. Right, that's a problem. I don't really have event loop until I'm very late in initialization sequence. like only after I initialize all of these systems and after I do all of that stuff, I actually call game loop. Yeah, maybe put loading down to the bottom of the screen. Yeah, that's not really problem of the location of the button. That's somewhat deeper problem here with the game loop. So how do I go about that? Okay, let me recall. So the drawing for the nuclear library is actually done. Wait, where is it actually done? So here I process input for nuclear library, which is graphics, I mean UI library I'm using. So I do process input here, and then just do, oh yeah, here, nk allegro render. So that's the one. So I can do some trick here. I can actually do some separate second loop, I mean event loop, which will be working only while game loads. And it would be kind of simplified version of that loop. It would just process input, or maybe it wouldn't even need to process input, because I mean progress bar is not exactly input component. Right. So it only would need to call nk allegro render in loop, right? Yeah, right. That would be easy. Yeah, but the thing is, right, but okay, I could be super clever about that. I can call this thing, which updates, which redraws all of the UI, in the function that changes progress here. So yeah, after that I can go with okay allegro render. Oh, but wait a sec. This would not be so easy, because I would also have to call I would also have to go through all of the systems. At least I would have to call system update, because what system update does, at least for UI system, it actually redraws all of the things. Or is it system draw? No, it's system draw, right. Yeah, tricky. That's tricky. Life support, yeah, I maybe want life support. So I'm thinking about whether I have to do separate kind of simplified game loop, or should I somehow piggyback on that one, which is main game loop. That's a tricky choice. And yeah, there's another problem. Another problem with the actual renderer and the actual display device, because again I don't have display device at that point, I guess. Oh no, I do because I created earlier here. So I create display and even the event queue. So yeah, I even do all of those like things, all of that weird dance here. I mean initializing Allegro, lib Allegro, which is my low-level drawing library. Right. Okay. So I do have a display, and at that point I could probably go. Okay, let me have a look at UI system again. So where is its? Okay, system update. Apply function. Okay, where's system draw? Oh, I don't even have system draw here. I mean, how that? Oh yeah, that works because I separately call nk allegro render in my event loop. Yeah, makes sense. Right, so what system update does? Nuclear context. So it calls a function on a nuclear context entity and parameters. So what is the function? Oh yeah, the function is the one that's actually loaded from the spec parameter. So like in loading, oh, where is it? Loading.lisp. So this DSL-ish thing is actually the function body. It is compiled when this prefab is loaded. So yeah, this is called by system update every frame. And then a nk allegro render actually gets all of those UI state and draws it. Okay, this all makes sense. So, how do I proceed with that problem of not having a game loop when it is loading? Maybe I could even go in even bolder direction. I could postpone initialization towards the first steps of event loop. So for instance, I can I don't know, maybe I could even make a separate thread, but that would be very difficult because liballegro requires that all of the images are loaded in the same thread that has created the display device. So that would be problematic. Yeah. And I mean, it would be generally hard to move that initialization thing into the game loop. Because, I mean, I would have to kind of intertwine those, and I don't have a nice idea about how to do that except using threads, which again is not an option here. And this intertwining, it's kind of, yeah, it would be hard to implement, I think. Alright. So I would have to either make simplified version of this main loop to kind of use it while loading stuff, or I could piggyback on this one, because again, okay, why not use threads? Yeah, again, because if you create Allegro Allegro rendering device, I mean display. If you call this function al create display, which is from liballegro, it creates the rendering device using OpenGL or DirectX or whatever your system has. And the limitation of liballegro is that you have to load all of the images that you want to be displayed in this device in the same thread that created this display. Basically in the same thread that called this al create display. So I would have to do all of that stuff in the same thread, and yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose. So I can't go with that. I mean, generally threads are a good idea, but not for initialization, I think. Because again, Allegro limitations. I mean, that thing even makes sense, I guess, because it is kind of related to some things like caching inside liballegro or whatever, or something like internal OpenGL buffers, something like that. I'm not really into low-level graphics stuff. Yeah, so I'm leaning towards having some stripped down tiny version of this game loop. Yeah. Okay, so what do I need from that? So I don't really need any input. Yeah, I guess so. I don't need input and I don't need events. That's the part of my handmade events system. I don't really want to process those while things are loading. It wouldn't make any sense. Then live support. That's the thing that allows to type some things and calculate some things in the REPL while the game is running. Again, that's not very usable in the loading phase. So yeah, I can omit that too. So we already strike out all of this code. Then display FPS, I don't need that either, because, well, I wouldn't even have FPS technically at that point. I mean, I wouldn't be rendering that many frames, I guess. Then delta time. Yeah, I don't really need delta time either, do I? But I can go along with that, I guess. Okay, process actions. I don't need that either, because while loading, again, I don't really have any actions. Then I'm updating all of the systems, and then I'm drawing all of the systems. Then I call clear to color, which like flashes all of the screen with the same color. Then I call do draw on my renderer, which is kind of functional renderer, which kind of remembers the functions that are needed to render every system. Then switch tick counters to have delta time calculated correctly. Then do vertical sync, Allegro NK Allegro render, and then AL flip display. So I would only need those two. I guess I can go without vertical sync. And I don't really need even do draw and system draw either, because all of that stuff here in UI system is done in system update, right? Where was it? Okay, where is it? System update. Yeah, here it is. It is so tiny, it's even lost from my sight. So yeah, here it is. System update. Yeah, and the big question here is, would I even need to update other systems? I mean, other than UI system. And I'm thinking maybe not. Maybe I don't need that at all, because why would I? I just want to draw new UI. I don't need any other systems to be involved. So yeah, that makes it kind of simple. Let me just put it here. Okay, maybe I would make it into separate system. Maybe it would make sense. Right, so some sort of simplified, I guess, I mean, I would rename it later. So, simplified game loop. I mean, again, I'm terrible at naming things. So, loop, the actual loop. Oh, I don't really want the actual loop per se, because it will kinda stuck. I only need one iteration, right? So fight game loop iteration. Yeah. So I don't need any of those. I don't need that. I don't even need delta time. I don't need actions. But I do need system update. But I only need that for the UI system, right? Do I put the instance here? Yeah, I guess so. Wait a sec. Yeah, right. So global UI system. And then I don't need system draw, but I do need clear to color. And I do need vertical sync. I guess I can omit that. And then nk allegro render. And then al flip display, which toggles, switches the back buffer with the current screen. Right, and I guess that's that. That's all of my simplified game loop iteration. And it even compiles. Nice. So with blah blah blah, how do I want it after or before? I guess I want it after because I want to draw the updated progress value. So here, simplify game loop iteration. I would have to rename that. Or rather find a better name. God damn it. Right. So what else? Right. So now I should call that function from different places where the progress is actually happening. And first of all, I would have to call it here, right after that thing is created, right? Right. Yeah, it even compiles. Cool. Okie dokie. So I should call this set loading screen progress, yeah, in actual places where progress happens. Where does the progress happen? I guess it happens in prefabs when loading prefabs here. Yeah, another problem. Another problem is that I don't really have the exact count of those prefabs at that point. But I do have count of systems, right? So I can go with that. Okay, let me switch to systems. Yeah, right here in initialize systems. So make keyword get hash wait what system fun call initializer lambda. Okay, system initializers, right? So nothing really interesting is happening in system initializers, right? I mean, those are these constructors which only call system create. Do I have anything interesting here in system create? No, I don't even. Okay, where is this defined? System create. Weird. Okay, in. Oh, right, in components. It is defined in components. So it basically just allocates the storage for components, right? Oh, and then it calls preload prefabs. Right. Okay, so let's call it, wait a sec. System create, right, initialize systems. So, I would want to call it right before here, right before calling initializer. Oops. So at that point I do know the full count, so I can calculate the percentage by just exercising the mathematical operation. I forgot the English name for division. Yeah, by exercising division. But I would have to rewrite that function. Mapcar system do list. Yeah, right, but I do that after that thing. Yeah, that would be tricky. That would be a hell of a loop macro invocation. By the way, it's hard to follow your code, too hard to read it. Maybe increasing font size would help. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, maybe increasing font size would help, but I don't really know how to do that temporally in Emacs. Okay, let me Google that. Yeah, maybe that's because I mean, I have this new monitor with like enormous resolution, like 2500 by 14 something hundred. So yeah, even to me these letters seem a bit small. So yeah, how do I change, or rather tweak font size in Emacs? Like temporally. Okay, Control X, Control plus or equals. Okay. I mean, that looks bigger, but yeah. Okay, is that any better? Oh yeah, thanks. But I mean, if I switch to different buffers, it wouldn't stick. Maybe I would want to kinda put it in initialization file. So give me just a sec. Yeah, I'm in Pro 12, so let's go with 14 maybe. Right, yeah, no problem. So, okay. Let me start all of this stuff again. Right, where was I? I was somewhere near UI system. Oops. Demo. Yeah, is it still working? Yeah, it is still working. Okay, how do I... Oh, yeah, alright. So, I think I lost my train of thought here. Yeah, right, I was in systems. And I was going to change this thing to kinda something like loop macro. I mean, to know the count of systems and therefore have the percentage number to set in loading screen. Right, that definitely would be tricky, because what I'm doing here is I first go through that systems initializers list. Come on, system initializers, which is kinda just dotted pairs of order, number, and the actual function, constructor function for that system. And yeah, I'm going through that first. So that's kind of two phases. In the first phase, I just loop through, call those initializers, store those systems in their respective global variables, something like star UI system, for instance. Yeah, here it is. And then, only then, after that, I loop over all of those things again, calling system initialize on every instance that's been created. So that would be tricky to re-implement using loop, but I will do my best. Right, loop, the controversial loop macro from Common Lisp. Right, so what am I doing here? Right, so let's loop over, first of all, over initializers. So for, colon for system initializers, no, for initializer in, or initializer, colon in system initializers. Right, so I can shove that system into another for, but I can set it like that, for system equals funcall other initializer. And maybe I even want to, okay, never mind. So system equals that. So that would be called on every loop iteration. Right, so after that, what happens after that? Yeah, I have to do that setf, and after that I would have to call something like collect, so maybe that would be 2 loops, and yeah, in that case that might do the trick, right? And what does system initialize do? Like, for instance, let's have a look at UI system. System initialize, okay, where was it? Oh yeah, right here, system initialize. Oh, that's a problem here, because I will make this loading screen only in system initialize, only after all of those prefabs would be loaded. Oh, god damn it. So yeah, initialization sequence is kinda pain in the ass. Right, I think I would have to put that in some different place. I mean, initialization and creating actual creation of that loading screen. So maybe even having separate system for that would make sense after all. So yeah, that's kind of somehow, somehow omitted from this general mechanism for initializing systems, right? So I would be able to initialize it early, and then to just follow initialization of other systems, and well, updating the progress bar. So yeah, that kinda makes sense. I guess that would make sense. But only, yeah, moving that system out of the generic initialization sequence would be tricky. So I obviously would have to call the system macro, and that macro adds initializer and constructor, constructor for that function into these system initializers. And I don't really need that, I guess. Or maybe I do, but I also would need to initialize that actual loading screen into that constructor. So I can do that only by re-implementing system create method, right? But system create is kinda taking dibs by components. So dev component macro uses that system create to do heavy lifting of preloading prefabs. Maybe I can use colon after method and piggyback on that. Would that make sense? Yeah, that's definitely a problem, and yeah, that is existent. Right. So do I call it just loading system? I mean, it's not directly related to loading any stuff. It just displays the loading screen. So yeah, I would have to call it loading screen. Or LISP is for people who think more than the type. Yeah, that is heckling, by the way. So yeah, right. Loading screen system it is. Loading screen system LISP. Yeah. Right. So let's just copy some stuff on here. Oops. No. So dev system. Not UI, but loading screen. Would that complicate naming? Yeah, I guess it somehow would, but yeah, anyway. So it would have this beautiful field, loading screen. No, the name would be terrible. I mean, the auto-generated accessor name would be loading screen, loading screen. That would be terrible. Let's have it at entity. So the accessor would be loading screen entity, which is a lot nicer. And then this stuff. So documentation handles. Okay, let me just copy documentation from credits. That's credit screen. So handles loading screen. Thank you, Captain Obvious. So yeah, I want the order to be cranked up for that system to be first in the list. And yeah, I guess that's that. So let me have a look at credits. Yeah, credits UI entity. Oh, maybe I wanted. What was that sound? Maybe that's my. Yeah, okay, never mind. So UI entity, maybe that makes a bit more sense. And yeah, I guess I need extra parentheses here. Yeah, that's fun how those are similar. Right, so the actual credit screen, I mean, why would I even use that? Credit screen. Oh, I definitely have some sound here. Oh. Oh. Okay, I guess at some point my thing here would go flush. with the terrible sound. Okay, right, let it be. Yeah. Where was I? So I don't really need this function in credit screen here. But I, for some reason, chosen to export that. So yeah, anyway. System initialize. So I would move, no, I wouldn't use system initialize here. I would move that things to initialize UI entity to actually system create, but to its after method. So that would be system loading screen system. So I would move here the code from UI system, which was doing that loading screen stuff. So I don't need it here now. So here, that one, and that one. And after that, I would move all of those stuff here. Right, so I don't really need this to do anymore. A better name, yeah, of course. Toggle loading screen, set loading screen progress. Right. Oh, maybe I want it before here. Oh, and for that to work, I would need also that. Right. System create. So so where was I? System create after. Right. So now I don't really have to set that big order to UI system. What was it anyway? Oh, it wasn't even specified. So I can remove that. Yeah, just like that. Oh, I think the parenthesis is missing here. Yeah, right. Okay. Right. So now I have this separate loading screen system. It is created very first, and right after it is created, it is making this object from prefabs. Oh, which means it kind of depends on UI system, and UI system also needs to be initialized at this point, which means that I still need this big order here. Yeah, right, recklessly continue. So where was I? Loading screen. Blah blah blah. Right. Again, I kinda lost my train of thought. Sorry. So, right, I have this new system. It is initialized before all of the other systems, and when it is initialized, right after that, it creates this thing. Okay, maybe I also need finalizer for that. So, credit system. I'll just copy that. Oh yeah, wait a sec. Loading screen progress. So yeah, first of all, not UI system, but loading screen system, and then not loading screen, but UI entity. Loading screen system UI entity, and then again not UI system, but loading screen system. Right. Setting hash. Right. And then here toggle UI system loading screen again, not that, but that one. Right, does that. So then system finalize, and then for loading screen system. So here with system slots of loading, wait a sec. Oh yeah, loading screen system. So here it obviously should be 2. Loading screen system. So here I want to access UI entity, and I want to delete that, exactly that. Okay, cool. So where was I again? Right, so it is created, it is deleted when it is not needed anymore. So that's kinda covered. Alright. So now I should get back to systems, I guess, and just finish this horrific loop. Right, so for initializer, blah blah blah. Right, at some point this thing will break. I am telling you. Yeah, it's broken. Okay. Crap. Yeah, sorry for a background. So anyway, where was I? The loop. So I would want to finish that one. Right. Yeah, right. So I guess I would use do close, and then in that do I would, well, do that, and yeah, which sets the global system instance into that hash of all systems. And after that I would actually make a progress update, right? I would call that set progress with okay, now I actually have to have this value. So how do I do that? Value. Right, so I guess I would have a counter first of all here, like for I from 0, right? From 0, and then I would have to have the total number of systems, I mean like in with close, like with count or something. Or count is kinda a keyword from loop. How do I name it? Gosh, I'm so bad with naming. Size, would that be size? Count, number, quantity, n. Yeah, maybe I will start with that. So with n, which equals to, I mean, is that even right syntax? I can't quite remember with, yeah, I guess it is. So with n equals to length of those system initializers, And so yeah, from 0. So now I can set this progress. So thinking that the whole number is 100. Okay, maybe I want to go along with the floating point, like from 0 to 1. Would that make more sense? Yeah, I guess that would make more sense. Let me just make a few adjustments. So first of all, in that loading screen in loading.lisp, I would have it to be with floating point, I mean with double precision. So yeah, and then in the actual loading screen system, I would want to set it here again initially to 0 with double precision. That's that. And then here later I would add type annotation, so progress is double float. Is right. So now I can set it here by simply dividing I over n, right? Yeah, right. So yeah, I've set it here. Yeah, and now for the tricky part. Now the tricky part is that I want to collect all of those actual systems. So yeah, that's what here setf returns. Oh yeah, but what I can do here is to put it into the collect, right? Okay, first of all, what do I do first? Do I create system and update loading screen then? Or do I update loading screen first and only then initialize the system? So okay, if I'm starting from 0, the first one would be 0, right? Yeah, maybe I want to do that first. Right, so the actual tricky part is that I want to collect all of those values. But I don't know if I can do both do statement and collect statement in the single loop macro invocation. So let me just try and compile that. Okay, it kind of worked. Little typo here. God damn it. Length. Yeah, right. So it compiles. So I guess I can use do and collect in same loop. Okay, the actual sequence is under question here because I don't really. I think the collect would happen first and do second. Okay, so I will just leave here a small comment. Figure out the order. Right, so where was I? Initialize systems, blah blah blah. Okay. So that's that loop, because it is collecting, it would contain that list I want to go over. So do I do extra loop or do I just go with do list? I guess I will just go with do list because why not? Damn it. Do list system. Right, the indentation would be a bit awkward. That's not really what I wanted. Okay, so first of all, I would want to comment that old code. Just leave it here. So then I would also add into the ASD file that new file, which is loading screen system. Loading screen, yeah, here, before that. Loading screen system. So it depends on On what? It depends on components, I guess. No, it does not depend on components. Its list of dependencies would be kinda the same as for credits system, right? So let's just copy that. Entities and systems. Okay, that's it. Entities. Alright. Okay, that kinda loaded. Let's see if that actually works. No, it does not. No such system UI. Oh, right, that's because UI have to be initialized before this loading screen, which means it have to have order. Okay, let's change order for UI system to be like 25. Right, and I guess I would have to go with full restart, just to be sure. Alright. Okay, invalid index should be non-negative. Okay, that's weird. Right, so oh yeah, I see. So I guess this call to initialize systems, sorry, the call to set loading screen progress happened before the system was actually initialized. Which is kinda, yeah, sounds C++-ish, isn't it? So okay, I think my Emacs is stuck again, god damn it. I hate it so much. I think it is somehow related to that mode I'm using, which is called GCMH mode, garbage collector magic hack, and it just postpones garbage collection, yeah, to some large time intervals. But yeah, anyway. So how do I fix that? I guess the thing here is that the UI system was initialized, and then we had a call to that set loading screen progress. Yeah, and that failed miserably because we don't have actually loading screen system yet. Okay, let's think a bit here. Okay, I can have a simple failsafe here. I can just, before doing that, just check that that system actually exists. The thing is, how do I actually do that? Okay, let me have a little debug print here. I will just print out the loading screen system. Yeah, kind of like that. So I guess I would have to restart again. And yeah. So now let's see. Oops, yeah, and package and just that. Demo, come on, damn it. So where is that print? Oh yeah, nil. Here it is. Nil. So I can just check that only when loading screen system, then set loading screen progress. That makes sense. The order of do collect. Alright. So maybe it would even work in the same image. Wouldn't it? Nope. Still nope. Okay. Okay, why is it happening? Oh, wait a sec. Wait a second. Oh, I see. I don't really have to call set loading screen progress inside of the system create itself. because that wouldn't make sense. It is called anyway here in this loop. Oh, how do I? Okay, so let's switch back to loading screen system, and here, yeah, I don't really have to do that. What's the warning? Undefined variable loading screen. How? Okay. I should call here with system slots. Okay, that's kind of complicated macro to use, but anyway, the slots here would be obviously loading screen. Then system type would be loading screen system, right? And then optional system instance is system. I have the instance here, and read only would be nil because I want to modify that. Read only nil, and then this body. Okay, have I made it right? Nope, I guess no. Okay, let's look here. With system slots, slot name, loading screen system, read only nil. Oh. Why is it working here, but here it says an infinite function setf? Come on, you have to be kidding me. Okay, to what that macro expands? Okay, maybe I want to have a program here. Oops. Yeah, program with... No. Okay. Macro expand one. Oh, that was one form, right? Yeah, that's one form. Okay. Let blah 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 system. Symbol macro let loading screen to loading screen system load. Oh, yeah, right. I don't have the loading screen slot, but I do have UI entity slot. Yeah, that was awkward. UI entity. Okay, now it compiles. So can I have it now? Hey, it kind of works, isn't it? Okay, now it looks like it is stuck. It is stuck. Okay. Oh, it can't even... It does not even break. Right, I guess the problem might be somewhere in initializing nuclear. I bet if I switch to the Sly events window, I would see some SBCL crash. That's for sure. Oh, it doesn't look like some crashes. Okay. I guess I should switch to Sly Inferrer Lisp. Yeah, here we go. Assertion CTX failed. Right, because that's because I haven't created the nuclear context. Right. So why have that happened? And I guess that happened because I'm creating this context only in system initialize of UI system, which would be called only after all of those system constructors. So I have to be trickier and maybe even have all of that again in system create after. Okay, let's try that. Let's rename it to system create and then after. It compiles, so let's okay, what should I do here? I guess I should do restart. This time I should do that. So okay, Slider REPL. Oh, I can't even... Okay, cool. I don't even have access to... Oh, but I can do that. Yay! Come on. So let's quick load the engine, switch the package, and then do demo. Okay, yay, it works, cool. So now I have this button which should be actually loading screen. So yeah, I guess I would have to change that prefab, and then that would work. Would exit work? Yeah, right, so finalization also works properly. Oh, but not the second call. Yeah, anyway, so I guess that's all for today. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you want more, get back next Saturday about the same time. So yeah, take care, have a nice day, and bye.